I'm going to just start off, introduce Barry Glinke to kick off our conversation of the Riverfront Development Phase 1 project. So,
thank you, Mayor, Council. Pleasure to be here tonight. We're just going to, working with staff here, we just want to give an update to you guys where we're at with all the data mining we've done, to let you know where we're at with the project as we're progressing through this process. You want me to drive? I get to drive?
Yes.
Very young.
Turn on.
Turn it down earlier.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're driving now? Okay. So again, just an update on where we're at with this project. You know, back in 2018 or 2017, we did the master plan for the downtown riverfront project. And earlier in 2018, council staff, you guys wanted to focus in on the 2-block area right across the river over here to see what we can get done in this area. So that's the area we're concentrating on to progress through here. Key project elements we looked at is that river balcony trail along the top edge of the river bank. Also a river trail that's going to swing down probably closer to the river elevation here on the western block. Riverfront amphitheater was identified in the master plan, and in addition to some riverbank improvements on the outer tail. Lens guys have done some work on the western bank and kind of clean that up. We want to do a little bit more work in there and put some native plantings in there and kind of dress that up. Maybe address some of those retaining walls in there. And then the other two options, or two areas we looked at, were both the parking lots and possibly some different layouts for those as we go through as well. So where we're at in the process here, we're on that first orange bubble there, the council workshop. So we're wanting to bring back a lot of the information we've gathered to date from stakeholders, residents, citizens there. From there, we'll continue to gather information through our online survey that we have and through some PMT meetings with staff here and put together more of a concise document as we go forward. But we're still in the data mining, information gathering stage. So we'll bring all that together through staff, and then we'll have a nice presentation and product here at the end of the year for you folks as we go forward. You'll see up on top there some of the agency coordination we've got in here. Actually, we had a great meeting today with Otter Tail this afternoon on possibly relocating some of their infrastructure that's overhead over there. So that went really well. Python as well. So just a bit more on the process. We started in July. We established some online survey questions that I think some of you have filled out. We identified some stakeholders that we're going to participate with. And we established some graphics that you'll see before you as we go through. So some of those stakeholder meetings we held in the middle of August. I know a couple of you attended some of those. We met with the senior citizens group. We established a property owners business group. The business owners right adjacent to the 2 blocks. Also a users programming and funding group. So that's all the people that are going to use it, have ideas on how to use it, and possibly even some people with some money to contribute towards it. And then we also had a meeting with the downtown stakeholders. So that was the rest of the downtown area, just outside the periphery of the project. We took all their information and grouped that together. Some of the major issues we identified through that process: parking, accessibilities, safety, visible and accessible market space, multi-seasonal use, and future regional trail. So that's in the back of our mind. Those were the hot button topics that we received a lot of comments on through the process. So we're using that in the back of our heads as we're going through laying out how we're going to move forward with this.
Can I ask, what was the safety concern?
Safety came,
Lighting.
lighting on the trail. Also just some you throw a bunch of pedestrians in. You always have those pedestrian vehicle conflicts on how we address those. Maybe some bump outs on the road, better crosswalks to shorten those travel distances, those kind of things.
On the business owners downtown, how was the representation at that meeting? I know that the seniors was well attended, but I don't know, the business one I heard was lighter, and I just wondered how, if it's lighter, is there a way to make sure we are hearing from all the business owners as we should?
The business was, I would say, light would probably be an understatement. I think there was 4 business representatives here at that one. Some of them, one of them that was here was one of the kind of the business leaders. I think staff identified as the I forget their names, the Sears.
Yeah,
The Sears
Keith and Bernadette.
Yeah, Keith and Bernadette. So they were here, and they had some comments, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of comments. We didn't get any mailed notices back. so everybody received their notices, other than probably 2 or 3, I think we got back just due to not currently at that address or whatever the case may be. So they received their information, they just didn't attend. And that was a meeting we had, I think that was the 1:30 to 2:30 meeting, so it was middle of the day if that was a issue, I don't know.
I just wonder if there's a way we can, if we have a light attendance like that, we don't maybe get enough representation from the public in that sector, is there a way we can adjust that or come back with another kind of a way to, whether we go to them or just make sure we hear from them. We don't like to the silence isn't good necessarily.
There's a dual stakeholder meeting in October, correct?
Correct.
So we could personally invite the business owners to make sure that they,
Yep, in October, we're gonna go through the same cycle of groups and have another meeting as well, so
Sounds good, yeah.
if we have another specialized invitation or more of an outreach.
Where's that
to
meeting,
those folks.
where's that meeting gonna be at?
That meeting will probably be, right here, is what we're assuming, unless we get dramatic turnout, and we can't fill 200 people in here. It might be a little tight if we try that, so. That would be the plan, is to bring all those people back here and go through that same cycle, the users funding group. That's why we split the businesses into 2 different groups, the one adjacent and then the outer reach downtown businesses as well. Thank you for your questions. Here at our last, that was our issues that we talked about, sorry, I was ahead of this one. So at the next PMT meeting with staff, the project management team, we reviewed those comments. We discussed some major issues to kind of get everybody on the same page and see where we're at and where we're going. With some of those issues, we're starting to engage those federal, or those different agencies, Otter Tail Power being one of them, the federal building being one of them. Also, we did receive comments through some of that input stuff about some of the DNR representation that's out there and some of their experts when it comes to stream rehabilitation and stream enhancements, with some of the national experts housed right here in Fergus Falls. That also open up funding avenues as well. So we're developing those riverfront concepts for the October open house is what we're progressing through. Again, some of those project input meetings, we received verbal comments from the staff we had here. I think I had myself and 3 others from Bolton and Mank, along with city staff that was there, receiving visual and verbal comments from the residents and property owners. Also, there was an opportunity for everybody to write down any handwritten comments or information that way. We also brought out the survey. There was paper copies of the survey in addition to the online version of the survey. We tried to push people to the online survey. That auto-populates and auto spits out the information, so it's a little easier for us. So we tried to push them to there. Sarah, the intern from the city, pushed out a lot of stuff on Facebook and social media ahead of that to try to get some response too. In addition, we also did a pop-up meeting out on Lincoln here at the end of August, which I thought went really well. We got a lot of input. It was a little breezy. We had to anchor some signs down, but we got it figured out. But we got a lot of input. A lot of people stopped by and just said, "Oh, I've been reading about this. What's all going on? What's kind of going on? What's the plan? What's the timeline?" Little recap on the survey. 10 questions as of last week. Just under 60 responses we've gotten through there. We're going to keep that survey open through our October workshops. So if anybody else comes in and wants to fill out that survey, they have the opportunity to do that. We can still receive that feedback through the end of October.
The questions on that, someone had asked me about, they were expecting to be able to fill out something like options downtown on the lots, and they said the river market wasn't mentioned in the survey as an option to comment on or anything. So we had the option in the written survey, or the other one, but on the online one, they said it wasn't mentioned. So I wondered if that was an oversight, or
Okay.
could you just maybe let me know or let us
I'll let
know
you
so I
know.
can answer
But
why.
I think when I get a few more slides in here, we'll look at results of
Yeah.
those surveys, and one of the results is the river market,
So-
farmers market. So maybe there's a terminology, maybe crossover.
yeah,
This is from the online one, right?
River Market's on there.
Good, okay, thanks.
Yep. So like I say, that spits out a nice, fancy, easy button
Excellent.
graph for
Yep.
us when we get all said and done. So again, we're still receiving all that information as we go forward to try to continue to mine that information. I think, Mayor, are you the only one with a copy? Okay.
It's on our.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right.
I'm not very technologically advanced, so I
I
have
just
to.
see you got the paper flying, so.
I'm with you.
All right.
They have a tree
Just, I
or
just,
two.
some of these are a little fuzzy, so I wanted to verify everybody can kind of see. So we started off public survey. How many years have you lived in
Excuse me,
Fergus Falls?
just going back, on the survey, it's got amphitheatre, public art, recreational trail, riverfront balcony overlook, restrooms, other, on the survey.
Other, yep.
So the market isn't mentioned. It says, which proposed elements do you feel is most important to the riverfront improvements? Choose one element. Amphitheatre, public art, recreational trail, riverfront balcony overlook, restrooms, other.
We must have asked it at a different, another question must have it.
It's in the written survey, but it's not in the online survey.
Okay, we'll look at that. We'll see if we've got to make.
But the market was a key element.
Mhm.
So we're skewing the data if we don't give that kind of option.
I would agree. So then on the question, I'm jumping ahead here about 4 slides. Most important riverfront improvement, a river market is on there. So maybe we tried to
Maybe
limit.
it's written and not on the online or something, I don't know.
We'll take a look at it and see if we've got something different there. But with the public survey, we asked how many years people have lived in Fergus Falls. You can kind of see, somewhat kind of see. That highest bar up there is people who do not live in Fergus Falls. So this is a lot of people, whether that's just outside the city limits or the next county or wherever. They don't live inside the city limits. So that's the highest percentage of people there. Then it's more than 10 years, 6 to 10, 2 to 5, less than 2 years. So you can see, got a lot of people that don't live in Fergus Falls, and then the next majority is the people that are tenured in Fergus Falls. How much time do you spend in the downtown area? That top bar is over 3 hours. The middle one is 30 minutes to 2 hours, and the other one is under 30 hours. So most people are in downtown 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. So relatively easily shopping, stopping by the drugstore, whatever the case may be.
Just a question on this. I mean, this is great. The blue chart, is there any way to distinguish those times by if they live in town or not live in town? Because out of those 24, 23 people that answer that live out of town, it'd be interesting to know how long those folks that come to town that are answering to stay in town.
We can drill into those two and correlate the top orange and cross-correlate that with the middle blue to see what kind of crossover is in between theirs. Get those, see what that looks like. But yeah, that would be a good, people are coming to work for 8 hours, or are they coming to shop? That's good to know.
Thanks.
Good to know. Some of the top reasons to visit downtown, keep in mind, again, this would be skewed by the higher percentage of people that don't live in Fergus Falls. Shopping, special events, work, and food. So that kind of, that hits, number 2 hits a little bit what we're trying to do here. More special events we'll be able to host and different things we'll be able to do. Hopefully they come for special events and they do more shopping and they eat more food, right? And hopefully work. Come in town and work. This one here I thought was a little interesting. This is how people get around downtown. The bottom green, 56%, that's all cars. And then you've got the 19% and the 24%. Those are, the 19% is walk, and then the 24% is a combination of walk, bike, and cars. So 50% of modes of transportation are not autos downtown. So that kind of leads us in a direction as well when we look at that too. The 2% is a bike. So hopefully with our trail progress, we'll be able to increase that effort as well with more bikes coming downtown through the regional trails. Most important riverfront improvements, broken up, park space, river balcony, a river market, none of the above, public art, restrooms, other, recreational trail, amphitheater, parking, river recreation, economic development. Kind of all across the board there, not real one that's real heavy except for recreational trail at 15 respondents on that one.
I think those are the DOT survey that we did.
Is that the DOT survey?
I think it is. That's
Okay.
where the river market piece came in.
Okay, so we don't have it on the online survey, it's the dot. Everybody, at our stakeholder meetings, everybody got 3 dots to go up on the board and put a dot on the items they thought was most important. So that's where that the river market one was. Thank you, Andrew. Some of the biggest concerns regarding riverfront improvements: parking, cost, accessibility during construction, public apathy, no concerns, connectivity, and community, and other. See, parking and cost were kind of leading the charge there, along with accessibility during construction. Obviously, an issue we have to deal with, keep making sure people get to businesses during construction as we go forward. Some of the concerns and comments that were with that question, it was kind of 50-50. Chicken or the egg, what comes first? The investment brings the business, or the business brings the investment? Some of the concerns. What comes first? Improvements to attract new businesses, or you need more businesses to support the project? Whatever side you look at, it's kind of split 50-50. In the comments we did receive, those were kind of the two ends of the spectrum that comes from that. What's missing or needed down there? Just some other things to look at. Family activity space, youth activity space, which we've kind of identified. Public gathering space, a market, or shopping, restaurants, arts and history, river recreational, accessible trails. Those are all kind of the hot button topics that we're looking at, which I think we're hitting pretty much all of them with what we've kind of headed in the direction we were heading. Next, just several slides of just some,
Bless you.
a lot of these were part of the stakeholder meetings, just some ideas as far as an amphitheater structure. Through some of the programming, we know we're going to need some type of covered structure to hang lights from, hang backdrops from, hang movie screens from, just kind of those kind of things. Those are one of the things we wanted to track down, is see what uses are going to be down there, so we can build the appropriate structure to handle as many uses as possible for that. Some of the different seating opportunities there. As far as the market goes, the overriding sentiments on the market was some type of covered market structure, 30 feet wide or so, that would be able to house double-loaded vendor spaces with a walkway in between, is kind of what the sentiments were. So the overriding one was the one on the left, was kind of the preferred option of choice for most of the people that commented on it. That allowed vending space on both sides, walkway in the middle to proceed through that. It's up in the air whether we cover parking spots or how that all works together, but that's in the details that'll be coming forth. Some of the arts and recreational things that we looked at, mini golf course, possibly, that would be pretty much right across the river from where we're at right now, in between the amphitheater and the street. Mini golf course, a water jet, pop jet fountain, some type of interactive feature, or just a place for kids to climb. They like to climb. It doesn't matter if it's built for climbing or not, they're going to climb on it. So, another concern was wayfinding. I know we talked about this through the master plan process as well, with the overall wayfinding in downtown. This was one topic, especially the farmers market people hit on, was some type of entrance sign. You are now at the river walk, or you're at the probably introduction to the river walk, and then maybe some changeable banners that said the farmers market's today from 8 to 4, or there's a craft fair today from noon till 6, or whatever that case may be. So, looking at options for that to provide as much information as we can. Amphitheaters down here, a possibility for something to actually post events on, so people know that's happening. The river overlook was one of the other things we looked at. It's kind of that would be down on the western block, someplace opening up over top the river to get a river view. Some of the thoughts were there that might open up an opportunity for a small entertainment person for a market, say a one-man band or some other thing like that down there, to have that space available to them for that as well. Lastly, it was an identified issue, we looked at the parking down there, on what would happen down there. So we did a layout. We did a couple different layouts on what could possibly happen. The layout I have shown is the one that results it's not the net least amount of parking spaces lost. It's the most efficient with providing us the most parking room, especially on the western lot. See where that blue wedge gets bigger? That provides us some more room for the market area. But this setup here is a net loss of 78 parking spots between the two lots. There's 200 to the east and 200 to the west and 100 to the east. Get my bearings here yet. Between those two lots, it would be 78 stall loss between those two, as shown.
Can we say that again, Mary, these numbers?
Oh, 200 existing spots to the west and 100 on the east lot. And this layout here would result in a loss of 78. I believe that's what my
Yep, that's right.
small eyes.
140 on the west lot and 82 on the east lot.
Oh, I see. It's written down on the paper.
Now, all of those spaces lost are going to be at the back of the lot to the south side, correct?
That's where the most of them will be lost. The layout on the east lot can be flip-flopped a little bit. Right now, we show just parallel parking up next to the alley. We could put that parallel parking on the riverside and put the angled parking off towards the buildings. And I know that would appease one of the stakeholders much more, to have more parking closer to the buildings there.
Yeah, that's the way I was figuring it. I know that seniors want more up because
Yep.
several of them don't walk very well. so-
Yep, they made that pretty clear. Also, probably.
I understand that.
Probably more of an enhanced, probably walkway across the alley too as well for them. I mean, somebody throw out heating the alley, keep the ice off it. That's out there too. So,
They want to pay for it.
and then, just
Can I ask you-
overall looking, sorry.
Question on the alley, the 24 foot is an increase width, isn't it?
Yeah, 24 feet is
Thanks.
kind of your standard width. The other thing I'll point out too is some input we received from the businesses adjacent there, Sears, and another one with a loading dock back there. If we did some type of straight through boulevard there that Joel's gonna kind of get up and show.
There's two openings here.
We wouldn't allow for truck docks, so we put a couple knockouts in there, so a truck can back up to the loading dock to be able to facilitate their delivery needs. Those are the two we heard of.
The current alley is, how wide is the current alley?
It's gotta be a little bit wider than 24.
About
Don't remember, but I think we all know, and part of the design too, though, would try to increase, develop the turn radiuses getting into those alleyways too, to improve the accessibility. Is one other thing too that was discussed.
The other thing we talked about too is even that gray strip that's there, especially on the west alley, is making that traffic weighted, so traffic can drive on that. So if panel trucks do need some more room to get around there, you can drive on that without hurting it, but it still delineates the alley for the drive surface and a walk surface, but it can still be used as a drive surface as well. So it's built for it, but there is some delineation there that it's more of a walking surface, but it can be used in situations.
You should just also remember that we just spent a lot of money doing that alley up, particularly behind the senior citizen center. And, I mean, we had a lot of pushback from owners about assessments on that. So to go and dig it up, we've got other places in town that need blacktop on them. So ripping up new blacktop within 2 or 3, probably 3 years at the most that it's been down, doesn't seem very prudent.
And so these parking lots are out of our study area.
Yeah.
We just wanted to throw some layouts on there to see what would happen if we did do something and what kind of impact on the parking it does have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just think, for me, I'd have a hard time to be convinced to rip something up that's only 2 or 3 years old,
Yep.
when we've got streets in town that need repair.
That was your point too, I believe this, where the drops are, I believe that is pretty much where this location
Yeah.
is, so I don't think there'd be any
Yeah.
rip out in this area. I believe that's pretty much where it is.
So we should be able to keep everything to the south, which would obviously be
Yep.
a better option than ripping up the fresh stuff. But another figure we put together just to kind of address that parking thing. This was some of the information back from the original master plan. So this area here, there's different parking counts. This is public parking counts, so this takes out the reserved and rented parking. That's why these numbers are a little bit different than what was on that last slide. Like the west lot is 140, because there's about 60 spots in there that are rented. So included with all these spots, in the downtown proper area, there's another 680 on-street parking spots. So one thing to keep in mind, there's a lot of parking downtown, whether it's on the surface lot or in the streets as you go forward there. So that's my newer presentation has that 680 stalls on the bottom left corner. That's not on this slide. Didn't get the right one here on time.
Based on the layouts that we've shown in these two blocks too, so you're losing about a quarter of the stalls that are there in these two blocks with these improvements on the south side. Just about a quarter.
So next steps for us, PMT meeting, which would be the project management team, so staff meeting, end of September. We'll have an open house stakeholder meeting with all those groups again in October. And then that end of October, we're really going to start having some better renderings and more concrete renderings on what stuff can actually look like and where we're headed for that. And we'll refine those with staff over the October-November timeline. And then we'll do a final design development presentation December to you folks.
Will we have a reporting in that October 30th or November area back so we can see what adjustments are made?
Yep, we can schedule that in.
It's nice to see the progress as we go, so we don't get it all at once and, at Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, we can schedule that back in to see where we went from all this data, working with staff to where we're at.
I think that'd be helpful.
And then
I think
finalize
it'd be important to have that before November 14, if we can.
before November 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. The budget
And do you have a date for this stakeholder other than October?
in October?
Yeah.
No, we haven't set that date yet. We'll set that on Tuesday when we meet with staff.
Other questions, comments?
It was really good.
Anyone in the public have any questions or comments? Thank you, Barry.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully it was informative, and we're going in at least we're all going in somewhat of the same direction.
I suppose the only other thing is there any way that we can get the market on the survey? As soon as it's not on the survey?
Yeah.
I mean, you're directing people to say, I want an amphitheater. You're not giving them a choice of a marketplace.
Yeah, if I can check that in the morning.
Yeah.
Exactly. The other question that was added to the survey was the zip code. That kind of helps figure out where people are coming from. So we did add that in the online survey. What is your zip code? It wasn't for the first.
Yeah, we added that at the last after the last
Yeah.
PMT meeting where we talked about, because we seen those results of everybody was from out of town. We wanted to know where that out of town was. If it's just out of town, or if it's next county or next. So. Thank you.
Thank you.